Hello, I am back again. It's Rich. I'm back with another transfer talk roundup. The news is coming thick and fast at Aston Villa. We've got news of a deal done. We've got swap deal chaos. We've got a fantastic link with a wonderful player if we could pull this one off, and a potential I don't know if it's PSR again, rearing its ugly head, agreement to sign or trade younger players to stave off those PSR regulations. So make sure you stay right to the end of the video to find out on this special player that could be linked. Make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We're marching on past 4,200 subscribers, on the road to 5,000. So like, subscribe, and get involved in the chat. All your comments coming in about these players that we are linked with. And as I've just said, only an hour or so after I did the last video to say that talks were advancing and really progressing, David Ornstein reported that Ian Maatsen and Aston Villa had agreed a fee with Chelsea for this player of around about £37.5 million to sign him, and potentially looking at a 6-year deal. We've now been granted permission to speak with Maatsen, who is on international duty with Holland at the Euros. But as Matt Law had already said, he's been sounded out about the deal. So I think personal terms will be an absolute formality. He's keen to move to Aston Villa, keen to work with Unai Emery. Aston Villa obviously being in the Champions League is a big pull as well, and it's a really good signing. Excellent signing. Champions League experience, as I said before, played at Dortmund, very good on the ball, can play numerous positions. Was operating at left back predominantly for Borussia Dortmund, but can play on the right, can play in midfield. Very comfortable with both feet, so he's a really versatile player for us. And yeah, going to be a really interesting deal and a really interesting signing. Now, we know that John Duran is on the radar for Chelsea. They are looking at other players as well. Samu Amadorian from Atletico Madrid, potentially Dominic Solanke as well from Bournemouth. Villa also potentially interested in Conor Gallagher. And with this deal, it's not necessarily linked to John Duran moving as part of this Ian Maatsen deal. There is a potential other player who could be used within this deal. Now, I put out on X, who could that be? Now, lots of people talking and saying it's Matty Cash that could be that player. 2 or 3 seasons ago, Chelsea were interested in Matty Cash, but could it be a Kane Kessler Hayden? Could it be a Diego Carlos? I'm trying to think of a younger player that it could be linked with. People suggesting it could even be a Jacob Ramsey. Now, that would be a real shocker, but it would be interesting to see. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is it just going to be as simple as John Duran? Is it potentially going to be Matty Cash, or could it be a bigger player like a Jacob Ramsey or something like that? And again, the profit and sustainability regulations being kind of manipulated slightly to help us do these deals. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on that. But really good signing, really good to get this deal over the line. If we can do it by the end of the week, 6-year contract, as I've said. I'm sure that personal terms will just be a formality. Really useful player, really useful signing, and showing that we can sign these really good up and coming young players that have got Champions League experience. So yeah, let me know your thoughts there. I will do a bit of a deeper dive into this player and what he brings with Gareth later on this week. We've seen more links with and changes with the swap deal involving Douglas Luiz and Juventus. Now it's looking safe that Sam Ealing Jr. will be joining, but Douglas Luiz Douglas Luiz is safe in terms of moving to Juventus. But the Weston McKennie situation, obviously, I reported that and said to you all that this payoff and this kind of negotiation with Weston McKennie and his contract and the buyout of his contract at 2 million was maybe proving to be a bit of a stumbling block. I thought it was going to be absolutely fine, but it looks like it's not going to be sorted now. So we have been now linked with another player, Enzo Barrenechea of Juventus, was on loan at Frosinone last season. They got relegated, but by all accounts, he had a good season. More of a again defensive midfielder, but specifically defensive midfielder, Argentinian, and started at Newell's Old Boys, then was transferred to Sion for 3.1 million euros in 2019, moved to the Juventus Next Gen team, and then has made 3 appearances for Juventus first team, and then was, like I say, on loan last season at Frosinone. 36 appearances, no goals. So, as I say, more of a defensive midfielder. Lots of people are saying it's a better signing, a better player than Weston McKennie, better option for us. Other people saying, Weston McKennie, much more experienced international player who was playing in the Juventus first team. So it's a little bit of a debatable one, but one that Aston Villa are open to. Soulé was the first choice, but Juventus didn't want to let him go. As I say, 23 years of age, Argentinian. Look at his heat map, gets about the pitch, predominantly in that defensive half, moves into the opposition half, but not too much into the box, as we know, as say, more of a defensive-minded player. 36 games played, 32 starts, no goals, and only 1 assist, but more in terms of keeping possession. So 86% accuracy per game, 91% in his own half, so comfortable in receiving the ball, and I guess just keeps it very simple. And 6.4 ball recoveries per game, 1.8 tackles per game. So obviously that's his strength. 1.6 clearances per game. Has been dribble past. So obviously in midfield, that's a bit more of a chance of that happening. But in terms of duels, won 56%, ground duels won 56%, aerial duels won 56%. So pretty decent in terms of those statistics. And someone who I imagine, as I've said before, Emery likes those type of players. Had first team experience, 22, 23 years of age, bit of a rough diamond, can mould him into a player that he wants. So it'd be interesting to see. And we're potentially going to get more money on the deal involving Douglas Luiz. 25 million euros apparently now, as well as Sam Illing Jr. and Enzo Barrenechea. So little bit more money obviously helps in every single way. So let me know your thoughts on this player. As I say, we're going to do a real deep dive into this player as well with Gareth later on this week. So lots and lots to focus on. So interesting stuff. Now, another player who we've been linked with, and this is, again, a surprise, and I have to say it's got to be some sort of agreement deal that these clubs are going to do to try and get through the profit and sustainability regulations. Lewis Dobbin, 21 years of age, Everton youngster, came through the academy at Everton, is now in advanced talks with Aston Villa, as Jacob Tanswell, I believe, reported first. As I say, 21 years of age, has appeared 15 times for Everton, scored 1 goal, did go on loan in the 22-23 season to Derby, played 43 times, scoring 3 goals, and has represented England up to under-19s level. Career probably stalled a little bit in terms of how he would have liked, and I guess in terms of development, which does happen with a number of young players at clubs, particularly in the Premier League. So I'd imagine he's a player who is going to, I guess, want to get a bit of a fresh start, much like Tim Iroegbunam. We're rating Iroegbunam at around 10 million. I'm sure they will rate Dobbin around the same. Probably had a similar amount of experience in the Premier League, being out on loan as well. So I'd guess similar price range, but I wouldn't imagine him troubling the first team squad too much. Plays off the left. So whether he's going to be used at all, Samuel Illing Jr. plays off the left. So I'm not too sure how much we're going to utilise this player and how much it is around the kind of navigating the regulations for both Everton and Aston Villa. So that remains to be seen, but interesting one nonetheless. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And finally, we've been chasing this player, I'm sure, for about 2 years. Mentioned him last season. Now Pedro Goncalves has again been linked with Aston Villa, and apparently we have a plan. We have a plan to launch to get him signed. Now, I think this will be done later on in the window once we get the finances sorted and the new accounts and the new accounting year sorted in July and August. He's got 3 years left on his deal. I think we've tried to sound him out at around 40 million euros. I think it's probably going to be somewhere in the region of 60 to 70. But this would be a really exciting signing. Just fantastic player and a real statement of intent if we could get him over the line. So let's again have a little look at his information on SofaScore. Really, really top player. Can play predominantly left wing, but can also play attacking midfield, defensive midfield, and obviously central midfield as well. Only 25 years of age. His strengths there, they've got his consistency, so real consistent performer, as you can see from those ratings there. Playmaking and penalty taking, which is an interesting one. Obviously, we're losing Douglas Luiz. Operates off the left, as I said there, in the opposition half, so really dangerous. Cuts inside as well. 32 games played, 32 starts, 6 team of the week, 11 goals scored this season, and 10 big chances missed. So obviously something to work on there as well in terms of getting that productivity risen. 8 goals from inside the box, 3 from outside the box. Look at the number of shots he's taken as well. 10 goals with his right, 1 with his left. So again, likes to cut in from that left-hand side. Imagine how dangerous he'd be with him, Bailey, Diaby to operate as well. 12 assists, which is fantastic, and 18 big chances created. So a real high-quality player. Played in the Champions League, played in the Europa League. 81% passing accuracy, 91% in his own half, and just worked hard for the team. 3.8 ball recoveries, 1.5 tackles per game as well. 44% in terms of duels won, 45% in terms of ground duels won. So just a top quality player, and a really exciting player if we could get him. Obviously was at Wolves at one time, but has developed further and further on at Sporting Lisbon. So yeah, if we could get this deal done, that would be me one happy Aston Villa supporter. So it's looking like Maatsen is done. Baranachea and Illing Jr. coming in for Douglas Luiz going the other way. The Duran deal is still potentially on the table. Matty Cash could be used as a make-weight, or one other player for Chelsea for the Maatsen deal. Lewis Dobbin potentially coming in as a bit of a make-weight for Tim Irigbon moving in the other direction. So loads going on. And then Pedro Goncalves. Todibo is a definite target for us as well, as I covered before. So loads going on. It seems to have really kicked off towards the back end of this week. And I'm sure it will continue into next week, because Emery want to get 2 or 3 players, or maybe even more, through the door around their first week of pre-season. So watch this space. That's it from me. Make sure you get your comments in. Hit that like button as well. Hit that subscribe button. Help us continue to grow. Thank you for all of your support for the channel over the last few weeks. In particular, the growth has been amazing. As I said, I'm going to be back later this week with a special show with Gareth, focusing on those players in particular, and maybe 1 or 2 others who he's got his eye on, who might really add to Aston Villa's chances for next season. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. I'm sure we'll be doing more transfer talk shows as well once these deals are fully confirmed. So make sure you stay tuned for the channel. Thank you all for watching, and as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.